But maybe we'll start with the news of today, that we've heard about the cancelling of the Super 500 race. What do you have to say or think about that?
Well, I think for South Australia to lose any major event is, clearly sometimes a cause for concern. But it was a big event. It brought in over 200,000 people a year. So I think the most important part of this conversation, Antonio, is, what can the state government do with that to replace it? And could something actually be greater than the sum of its parts? So we have a long history of motorsport. We have a long history of motoring and motoring tourism in South Australia. So Business SA would very strongly suggest that don't abandon motoring as a means of kind of building and growing tourism numbers. Look at an alternative motoring event.
Now, I've seen obviously commentary that's unhappy about this, and some have been saying also, on the other hand, well, these motorsports, they're very polluting and they're not very good for, if you're talking about climate change and renewable energies. Could that be part of the thinking process?
Business SA's board of directors very recently put forward a 9-point plan to Premier Marshall and to the state government. And Antonio, one of the points within that 9-point plan was to encourage the state government to do a detailed economic impact study on holding a Formula E event in South Australia, which is effectively the electric version of Formula One. And we think there's a lot of opportunity here, and we think that's opportunity to be explored.
Well, interesting. So we'll see how that development goes and what might transpire.
Antonio, the important part is the reasoning behind that is that when it comes to renewable energy, South Australia is one of the leading jurisdictions around the world. When it comes to technology, South Australia is wanting to grow its credentials in terms of being a leader in technology, and that's why there's such a strong focus on Lot 14 and the like. But also, we're very good at holding major events. And Formula E may have potential because globally it's growing. And it grew by some 20+% last year in terms of audience viewing. And the television audience of Formula E is now almost the same as Formula One globally, which is extraordinary for an event which is only 6 years old. So the trajectory is strong. It seems like a very good fit for South Australia on a strategic level and on a brand level. So the board of directors of Business SA is encouraging the Premier and encouraging the government to run the numbers on the event, to do an economic impact assessment, because we need to have another major event in the city of Adelaide. It would be a shame for that to be fragmented and kind of, placed right across South Australia. We think we need one major event.
In Adelaide.